Hola, it's Nola. Terrell's gone right now, so it's just Nola. But I want to share something that I've been wanting to put out there and I haven't gotten around to. Um, I wrote a children's book. Wrote it and illustrated it, and I want to share it with you. But first, I need to talk a bit about my book. Okay, so it's not your ordinary children's book. On each page, I have a narration, and then I have small print. And a child or a parent or grandparent or an older child is supposed to read it to the child. And then, after they read the page's narration, they're supposed to take time to ask questions. And I cover some fun things, some serious things, some very important things throughout this book. God just said to put it all in one book. So, although I will say that I think you would do better off just sharing maybe 2 to 5 pages at a time and no more. One thing that did happen is God gave me this idea in a dream to call it Color Me Storybooks. And I do feel that is inspired. And so instead of coloring them, I think your children should color them. And what it is from very young, I was brought up I was born on my grandma's horse ranch. Well, at the time it wasn't that, but after Grandpa died, it was a horse ranch. My grandma turned it into a horse ranch, and I was able to spend a lot of time up there with my grandma, so that was very special to me. And at times my dad actually lived there also. He was a high school teacher. And anyway, so I want to show you my book. Here. It's called The Learning and Growing Adventures of StarBrite. Right? And I'm going to share some things with you. So here's an example of the first page. And it says, one starry night on a farm in St. Pete, Utah, a colt was born. You know, I live in St. Pete right now. It's an awesome farming community with small towns. A lot of them are pioneer towns, so there's a lot of old pioneer houses. We have incredible canyons, just incredible. So try and visit if you can. I could put a plug in for my Airbnb at this time. It's found on Airbnb at Bit of Heaven Homestead Cowboy or Bit of Heaven Homestead Pioneer. Anyway, I'll do that. And so let's finish reading. It says, the first thing that his mother and father did, because they were very happy and thankful, was to put forth a thank you prayer to God for the precious foal that he sent them. They decided to call him StarBrite due to the special star on his forehead that was the same as theirs, and because of the beautiful bright starry night, and because they hoped that he would be a bright light to everyone that knew him. Okay, so then it has a small print, and in the video it's smaller, but in real life you'll be able to read it just fine. Then the parent would ask questions like this. Do you know why you were given your name? Does your name mean anything? Do you know what it means? And then you could talk to them about that. Look it up on the internet if you want. Have them point out StarBrite and the other kinds of animals. You could say things like, where's the cow? Where's the horse? Where's the sheep? Where's the pig? Anyway, just things like that. And then every page has a mouse. Many times it's hidden. And so they need to find the mouse. And they have fun doing that. Okay, there's more questions on that page, but I'm going to move to this page. And here we go. It says, StarBrite had fun on the farm, but too many times he would tease and make fun of other animals. He would even brag that he was better than them in every way. Now, Farmer Sonny was sad to hear this. He tried to teach Starbright to be kinder and to realize that it was wrong to put yourself above others or to put down others, because everyone is wonderful in their own different way. Okay, and then it goes on, and then there's questions like, why is it mean to tease and make fun of others? Okay, sometimes I'll give you some answers. Why is it wrong to feel and think or boast about being better than others? And what did Jesus tell us about this? And I put, Jesus taught us to be kind to others, compassionate, to not look down on those that are less fortunate, to not be prideful, or feel like you're better than others. Anyway, so those are some ideas. And I have other subjects here. It talks about his birthday. It keeps on covering his birthday. And then one day he decides to not obey his mom, and he runs off to play in the desert. And then he gets lost in the desert. And he goes on this adventure of being lost. Then he meets a friend from a wild herd, and she is very sick, so he learns how to help and take care of her. And so it talks about that. And then you use questions that discuss that. And then she dies. And so then you you read the narration, and then some of these questions talk about death and angels, some really great subjects. Anyway, then he gets hurt he tries to join this wild herd of horses, and the one alpha he's really mean to him and hurts him. Anyway, so it discusses things like that. And there's bullying. I kind of talk about the questions. Okay, and then here he's sick, and so it talks about being sick and doing things to get better. Then he runs into this rancher, and the rancher ends up training him to be his ranch horse and take care of cattle. And then they're in a rodeo, and then the rancher helps people in his community, helps this farmer, and it talks about helping others. And then they go camping, and so trail riding and camping, and it talks about camping and having s'mores and having fun camping. And then he gets tired, and he hears about this going to England and learning English riding and jumping. So he goes in a plane to England, and he thinks it's so funny when he gets there. Anyway, they put his mane into a little balls, and his tail into little balls, and he has this itty bitty saddle, and so he kind of is funny, but he gets to meet the Queen. So, and I could go on and on and on. He ends up having a mean trainer, he does very well with jumping, very well. But then there's one of the trainers that wants to train him for outdoor competitions. And he's very cruel and mean to him. And so he ends up running away. And then he ends up, God sends up to this freight ship that takes him back to America. And then he ends up meeting all these Kentucky Derby horses that are thoroughbreds. And the story goes on and on, several more pages. And there's just wonderful things for you to talk about with your child and to learn and grow. And anyway, so I'm hoping that everybody can order my book. Well, you don't have to order it. You just go to my Gmail, abitoheavenhomestead@gmail.com, and you tell me that you would like a download of my book, and I'll send you a PDF file. And I am asking for donations, but the donations would be at Venmo, Nola May, M-A-E, Van Wagenen, E-N-E-N, Van Wagenen, at A Bit of Heaven Homestead. And you could, by chance, donate. But if you feel like that's a hard thing for you right now, I want to give it to people for free, too. And if you know anybody else that could use this, that can't afford it, or you'd like to gift it to them, then you can copy them off of some too, and maybe give it as a Christmas gift or whatever, a birthday gift or whatever. And so anyway, that's what I'd like you to do. Hey, don't forget that Jesus loves you. Don't forget Jesus loves you. That is another calling that I have, and I hope that all Christians out there realize, is to share our gifts and talents to spread the word and the love of Jesus. You can also look up my song that I wrote right after my death experience, and it's called Spread the Love of Jesus. Anyway, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Maybe donate to our various causes that we are involved in right now, need help with. Anyway, love you. Don't forget Jesus loves you. Bye-bye. God bless.